Hello, everyone. This is Christian Bassar again with another episode of the podcast. I hope you're having a great day, keeping safe, and just taking care of each other. And what I want to talk about today is just a very short video, or short audio, rather, about Hadji Murad, written by Leo Tolstoy. So it's a fairly short story and an even shorter podcast today. And what I'll be talking about is Leo Tolstoy's take on civilization. Well, so I just want to give a brief little message, and let's get right into it. Hello, listeners. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast, and I sure hope that you've been enjoying the thoughts given in the Historical Thoughts and Interpretations episodes. But I would like to ask if you would consider making a pledge to the podcast via Patreon. I have many projects in mind for this podcast, and the books, paper, and so on needed to produce the episodes will not be free. Help keep Historical Thoughts flowing so that we can interpret the past and learn from it. You may pledge any amount that you like, and whatever you choose to give will be appreciated. If you would like to donate, go to my Patreon link at patron.podbean.com/historicalthoughts. And again, that's patron.podbean/historicalthoughts. Now, let's get back to the episode. What makes a culture civilized? Now, you cannot answer this question properly with just a short little podcast like this, or even just one book, I would say. But there are lots of definitions about, if a civilization or a culture has writing is one definition that has been brought up, and also if it has like an advanced society, sort of, it makes it a civilization. But, the thing is, this is also a question that many people have asked, and there may be different answers. But at the turn of the 20th century, Russian author Leo Tolstoy addressed this issue in his short novel, Hadji Murad. This story is set in the early 1850s during Russia's war against the Chechens. In it, Tolstoy suggested that, quote, uncivilized societies could in fact be better than their, quote, superior enemies. The Russians and Chechens in Hadji Murad are polar opposites. The Russian Empire is, quote-unquote, civilized, and its nobles are learned, as their command of the French language indicates. This also ties them to Western European culture, whose dignitaries also speak French. Russians enjoy lavish entertainments in fancy palaces and theaters. By contrast, the Chechens lead simple lives in small villages. They sleep under animal skins with sheep herds nearby. A Chechen court is described in the story, but not grand entertainments and other social functions that one might associate with a quote-unquote higher civilization or a higher society, as Leo Tolstoy depicts the Russian Empire to be. But civilization is not merely in buildings and high society. More important to Tolstoy was how a civilization treated people. Hadji Murad, after whom the novel is named, is a Chechen who defects to the Russians. Some Russians call him a good man, but others treat him with contempt. After his defection, for instance, a Russian yells at him, a supposed ally, just to sit down. When Murad wishes to ransom his family from the captivity of his former master, Imam Shamil, he is ignored, and despite promises, he waits a very long time for the ransom money. This is unsurprising, for Russian Emperor Nicholas I in the novel is depicted as mean, self-important, and condescending. But while Leo Tolstoy's Russian characters in this novel, or this short story rather, drink, carouse, gamble, and have affairs, the Chechen culture of the past is praised for its forgiveness and absence of vices. Also, Russian family life is filled with insults and hypocrisy. But a Chechen family, on the other hand, shows Hadji Murad hospitality despite Imam Shamil's threat of death. It is iconic that the Russians, in fact, destroy this family during a raid on their village. Hadji Murad is praised for releasing the captured widow of an enemy. Even Imam Shamil, his former master, has honor as well, as his intentions are clear regarding Murad's family. He warns that they will be killed if Murad does not return. The two-faced Russians, however, in the novel, procrastinate in helping him. This forces Murad to escape, whose allies kill him in a skirmish, in fact. However, the Chechens in the novel are not without sin either. That must be noted, for their political environment is rank with assassinations and vengeance. In Hadji Murad, Tolstoy judges cultures by their actions. Though a Russian himself, he portrayed his countrymen as uncivilized. even though Russia had a great empire and it also had a strong and rich culture. To him, they were untrustworthy and irresponsible. The Chechens he depicted were honorable and hospitable, and their civilization was compared to a resilient thistle, which is beautiful in its own way, even if other civilizations considered it bothersome and tried to destroy it. So that is probably the shortest episode I've done so far. But I just wanted to share Leo Tolstoy's thoughts about civilization in his story, Hadji Murad. And that's the thing. A lot of times people will look at a culture or a country for what it does, right? Not necessarily for what it has. It may have, and this is similar to people, right? If someone has a great house but is not seen as a trustworthy person, that person will be seen negatively. And some people will see that applying to cultures and civilizations as well, just as Leo Tolstoy said in his commentary in his book, right? So this is something to keep in mind as well. Every culture has value. Every culture has worth and things to contribute. But there are also many bad things in every culture as well. All kinds of bad things in every quote-unquote civilization. And it is, again, based on what a country or a civilization does. That's always important to remember. Another important thing to remember is no matter what a civilization or society does, we need to remember that the individuals are responsible for their own choices. Whether the society does good things or bad things, the individual is also responsible for, on a personal level, either good or bad. Well, with those quick thoughts, I just wanted to say goodbye for now, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.